What's up guys, my name is Scott and you're watching Kentucky Ballistics. And today we're going to have a little bit of fun with a Smith & Wesson 460 Magnum XVR revolver with an 8 3/8 inch barrel and Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum Performance Center with a 10.5 inch barrel. We have 64 inches of 10% ballistics gel from Clear Ballistics. We're going to shoot several different rounds out of each revolver and compare the two. Real quick before we get started, here's a look at the ammunition we're going to use in today's video. All of our ammunition is Underwood ammo. Starting on the left, we have our Smith & Wesson 460 Magnum ammo. We have a 300 grain XTP jacketed hollow point, a 250 grain Xtreme Penetrator, and a 360 grain lead flat nose hard cast. Then on the right, we have our Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum ammo. We have a 350 grain XTP jacketed hollow point, a 350 grain Xtreme Penetrator, a 440 grain lead flat nose hard cast, a 500 grain XTP jacketed flat point, and a 700 grain lead flat nose hard cast. The advertised ballistics for all this ammunition will be left in the description down below. Alright guys, I want to give Underwood Ammo a special thanks for supplying us with ammo for today's video. Go check them out. There's a link in the description down below that'll take you right to their website. Now let's get started. Alright guys, we've got all 64 inches of ballistics gel set up. Now let's get started. Alright guys, we're going to start out with the Smith & Wesson 460 Magnum 300 grain hollow point. We're going to have to do that again. It shot out the top of the block. That was better. Alright guys, the first shot hit here and it left the ballistics gel. I was kind of shooting at an angle and I didn't realize it, so it caused the bullet to come out of the top of the gel. Second shot hit here and it looks like we stopped right at about 27.5 inches or so. Alright guys, 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum 350 grain hollow point. You know, I had one goal for today, and that was don't get the gel blocks dirty, because it sucks to clean these things when they get dirty. So I thought I will put all my blocks on this plastic table. Nice, smooth, clean plastic table should be good. Well, I put the blocks on the table, and they were too long for the table. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just put some tile at the end, stack it up, and that'll level it out, and that'll be just fine. Nope, I was wrong. That 500 hit that first block so hard that the force busted the tile that it was setting on. That is just ridiculous. Alright guys, the Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum went through about 20.5 inches of gel. Alright guys, I've moved our blocks around so we have the fresher blocks up front, and now we're going to move on to the hard casts. Alright guys, Smith & Wesson 460 Magnum 360 grain hard cast. Okay guys, that one went low and went into our table. So we're going to shoot it again. Okay guys, that first hard cast, it dipped down and then went into our table. The second hard cast we shot blew through all 64 inches of gel. I put a piece of wood back here to stop our bullet, and it did its job. Put a nice indentation in that wood. And here is the hard cast hanging out the side of our gel. Alright guys, Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum 440 grain hard cast. Okay guys, the Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum went through all 64 inches of gel, and we actually managed to stop it back here with our piece of wood. Alright guys, Smith & Wesson 460 Magnum 250 grain Xtreme Penetrator. Alright guys, looks like our Smith & Wesson 460 Magnum 250 grain Xtreme Penetrator stopped right at about 36 inches. Alright guys, Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum 350 grain Xtreme Penetrator. Okay guys, the Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum 350 grain Xtreme Penetrator looks like it stopped right at about 47.5 inches. Alright guys, now let's see how far we can make it into the gel with the 500 Magnum 500 grain flat point and the giant 500 Magnum 700 grain hard cast. Alright guys, Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum 500 grain flat point. Alright guys, our Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum 500 grain flat point stopped right at about 36 inches of gel. Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum 700 grain hard cast. Okay guys, the 700 grain hard cast went through all the gel. It actually left the block about here and kept going. But let's go ahead and do it one more time, see if we can catch that thing. Okay guys, I think we're going to call her quits after that one. Our gel has too many bullets in it for us to keep testing. Our 700 grain round entered the gel, went through the first block, the second block, and when it got to the third block, it hit this 460 hollow point, left the gel, and hit this piece of wood, then it bounced onto our table. Now I know that 700 grain round can make it through all this gel. The first shot, it left the gel right here, and I know if the bullet wouldn't have turned right and would have kept going straight, that it would have went through those last 3 or 4 inches of gel. So we're going to go ahead and call her quits, guys. Wrap things up for the day. Alright guys, here are the recovered bullets. I am not going to weigh and measure the hard casts because I know that these hard casts aren't going to expand in gel, and I do not believe they're going to lose any weight in the gel. The only weight they would have lost would have been the wax that is normally at the base of the bullet and the gas check. I'm also not going to weigh or measure these Xtreme penetrators because they're made of solid copper, So I know that they did not expand, and I know that they did not lose any weight in the gel. We also are not going to weigh or measure this 700 grain hard cast because, for one, it wouldn't be fair because it's smashed into another bullet, and also it's a hard cast. I know that it's not going to lose any weight in that gel or expand. The only weight that would have been lost would have been from the wax that was at the base of the bullet and the gas check. Now what we are going to weigh are our hollow points and our flat point. We'll also measure them. As you know, our 460 bullet was destroyed by our 700 grain hard cast, so I shot another 460 hollow point into the gel so that we could have one to weigh and measure and compare to the 500 Magnum bullet. So we will be measuring and weighing our 460 300 grain hollow point, our 500 Magnum 350 grain hollow point, and our 500 Magnum 500 grain flat point. All right, first up is the 460 300 grain hollow point. It's weighing in at 268.9 grains. Next is the 500 Magnum 350 grain hollow point. It's weighing in at 278.2 grains. And last is the 500 Magnum 500 grain flat point. And it's weighing in at 496.5 grains. All right, now we're going to measure the bullets. The 460 300 grain hollow point is measuring in at 0.711. The 500 Magnum 350 grain hollow point is measuring in at 0.946. And the 500 Magnum 500 grain flat point is measuring in at 0.832. Alright guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely had a lot of fun making it. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're a new subscriber, don't forget to hit that little bell at the top. It'll give you notifications when we upload new videos. We upload new videos every week. If you're interested in Kentucky Ballistics clothing, there's a link in the description down below that will take you to our shop. There's also links in the description down below that will take you to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Don't forget to check us out over there too. Once again guys, my name is Scott. You're watching Kentucky Ballistics, and I'll see you next time.